This is an update to mapping police violence. And while the death toll continues to climb, because as of October 7th, the death toll stands at 1,052, and the data still lags about 2 weeks behind. One day was added on October 3rd where no one died by police violence, and it was the third day added to the ones that had happened in May and September of this year. So far, there's 3 days so far where nobody died from police violence in the United States. And what is interesting is that a former NFL player, Doug Martin, on Saturday, October 18th, died while in police custody. So I thought that was interesting. And there is something called excited delirium, and it's when somebody dies when they're in custody and is yeah, and the record shows that it is included as somebody dying by police violence or somebody dies in police custody, and there seems to be no apparent reason. But there does exist this condition called excited delirium. So the number of um, deaths by police violence continues to go up every couple of days. When I go to mappingpoliceviolence.org, the number every couple of days the number has increased. So that's kind of scary that people are being killed by the police at an alarming rate. I think it's an alarming rate. And there's no mention of it in mainstream media, but mainstream media will have you believe that black people commit most of the crime in the United States. Black people commit the most crimes against white people. The crimes against white people is committed by black people. Yeah, they'll have you believe that, and they'll perpetuate that thought. That gets perpetuated. So people are supposed to believe that white people don't commit any crime against other white people. That I think they want us to believe that white people don't commit any crime at all. So the propaganda is to always make it appear that the black person is the one that's the criminal and that's committing criminal acts. No matter what the white person does, it could be crime, criminal all day long. But it's not really a crime because the white person is doing it. Yeah, that's what mainstream media will have you believe. Mainstream media will also have you believe that white people are not being killed by the police because they don't want you to think that there's any reason for which the police would have to kill a white person. But if you go to mappingpoliceviolence.org, you will see how many people who are killed by the police are white people. Ethnicities are included in the data. Ethnicity, sex, images, video footage. If a local news station may have gone to the scene of the shooting because it was you know a big deal. You know what they say: if it bleeds, it leads. So it does include details about what led to the killing of the victim. The victim doesn't always die by gunfire. So it's very interesting data um, to look at when it comes to mapping police violence. And right now they seem to lag behind about a week, no, 2 weeks. It's about a 2 week lag. The last update was data as of the 7th of October. So that's pretty recent. That's fairly recent. considering we're going into like the last stretch of October, then it's going to be November. And then after that, we still have 60 days to go in this year. And in 60 days, anything can happen. I do think that the way that the police kill with impunity and they and it's really nothing new. It's nothing new. It's like the police, the job of the police is to keep the U.S. population at a certain level, especially when it comes to black people. So there's just always lots of police killings. It's always been. And now it's not just the police killings. You have, these groups of white people who feel like they should be allowed to just go out and kill black people with impunity. So to me, it's all a form of genocide because you're singling out a certain group of people for elimination, for extermination. And to me, they don't even try to hide it. So to me, and that's just the way the data appears, and that's just the way it looks. Like police killings is a form of genocide, and it's a way to curb births and to end lives in the U.S. And mainstream media doesn't even report on it. Mainstream media don't even report. It seems like with all the police killings, you would see more police killings in mainstream media reporting on a day-to-day basis because on most days, somebody's killed by the police. As I've said, there's only been 3 days so far in 2025 where nobody died by police violence. So that's interesting to me. So yes, this is the update on mapping police violence, and the number right now stands at 1,052 people have died by police violence so far in 2025 as of the 7th of October. Is that not alarming? A lot of times people die by police killing and they had nothing at all to do with any type of criminal activity that's going on. Whether the police was on their way to the criminal, to the site of the crime, or anything like that. Recently, ex NFL player Doug Martin that was dead in police custody. It happened in Oakland, California, where he was born, 36 years old, and apparently he was having some type of a mental um, episode. And he ended up dead in police custody. So I'm wondering if the fact that that happened is going to be included in the, you know, mapping police violence data, because I do believe that that's one of the things that they include in their data is people dying in police custody. And of course, the fact remains that you don't have to be shot to be killed by the police. There are a number of ways in which you can die by police violence, and it has nothing to do with being shot by the police. So yeah, I think that it's all um it's a form of genocide. That's all. And they just keep it going because they don't care. They don't care about people dying, and because if they cared, they wouldn't be allowing this thing with SNAP benefits and no SNAP benefits come November. And still, November is like a week away, and people are already anticipating that they will not receive SNAP benefits. That's just like starving people, like they starved the people in Gaza, like the people in Sudan are starving, and they can't stop that genocide. They can't do nothing. The world at large can't do anything to stop those two major forms of genocide that's happening. So nobody's coming to the rescue of the American people who are being denied their food stamps. Nobody's going to say, hey, what you're doing to the American people is not right. You're not giving them SNAP benefits. How are they going to survive? And there's lots of people that depend on SNAP benefits for survival. And now they're having that safety net snatched from under them. And so it's just like, not letting food into Gaza so people can eat, and they know that the stuff is there and they know what the people need, and they just let a trickle of stuff come in, and in the meantime people are dying of starvation, and nobody's stopping it. So nobody's coming to the rescue of the people in the US when it starts to be like really ugly and bad. Nobody, because nobody said anything for Gaza. And the American politicians, we all know, everybody knows they don't care. They do not care. So yes, mapping police violence, all of that is all tied in together with everything that's currently happening, and it's happening right before our eyes. But a lot of times, if it's not reported in mainstream media, a lot of people then act like, well, it's not happening because they're not talking about it in mainstream media. And I have always said, mainstream media, they practice lying by omission. That's what they do. If they don't talk about it and they know it's happening, that's lying by omission, and they cannot be trusted. There's lots of independent news outlets that are way more trustworthy, and they're more truthful than mainstream media is. Yeah, they're referred to as the new black media, but they be really talking about some things that are not being discussed on mainstream media. And I give them credit for being consistent about telling what needs to be told, because mainstream media, they just try to whitewash everything. All black people are criminals, and to me they perpetuate that, so that when the police kill a black person, it's justifiable. But I think that a lot of people, if they went and looked at the data for mapping police violence, they would be surprised at how many white people are killed by the police. It's a serious thing, but they never talk about it in mainstream media. Only when they get ready, they'll talk about, I don't know if they still say unarmed black man, but yeah, a black person being killed by the police, because it doesn't have to be a man. It does not have to be a man. So it's a serious thing, mapping police violence, because the number just continues to increase every couple days. Sometimes I be dreading going to the page to look at it, but I do, to see how many more people have been killed by the police in the last couple of days, in the last week, in the last 10 days. It's constantly increasing. It's constantly on the rise. So I don't even feel safe because I see the police around. And there's lots of police in New York City. So thank you for joining me for this episode of Mapping Police Violence. I will do another episode based on this topic, because I just think that it's something that's worth knowing. And like I said, nobody else is reporting on it, and it is definitely worthy of wider recognition. So thank you.